And I remember waking up in the morning. This is my morning. Thank you for another day. Literally, just before, as soon as my consciousness came into this body, that's what it felt like. I was coming back from a place. But still, I was just in complete joy. Just, thank you for this breath. Literally, I didn't have to think about it. I just woke up and the first thing I thought was, thank you for this breath. Can you imagine being grateful for breathing? I was with my wife at the time, ex-wife now, but I was unhappy and I wanted to get out of it, and I was feeling stuck and I didn't know what to do. I was feeling guilty because at one side I was supposed to be this father role and husband role, but I was unhappy as both. I didn't like playing either character. And I met Heidi online. We connected on Facebook, and I had this knowing that I must go to meet her. And so I booked a holiday to go to Tenerife, and I booked it really close to where she is. And I remember the first day we met, I went out, she drove up in a little car, and she came out, hugged me, and we got in the car, and it just felt so easy. And I'd never felt that with anyone in my experience up to that point. Just the ease, like we were just long lost brother and sister that had met, that we just knew each other from a long time ago. And the ease we felt, and we went back to hers and we ate her lovely soup, and the whole experience, we hardly talked. I remember thinking, wow, this is so nice to be around someone, but we're not talking very much. We're just in this state of knowing each other fully. And I left that day and I went to see her one more time before I left on that holiday, and she got the inspiration to coach me, or she did these Jesus sessions where she was channeling Jesus, and it was a very powerful experience with her. And she going into the dark. I don't know how it's going to be going down here, plus it got really windy. Might be too much. So we started doing these online sessions, and she would guide us through these practices and processes that she was being guided through, and they were really powerful, and they put me into deeper and deeper states. And one day during the session, this was actually earlier on, so during the session she looked at me with this, I don't know, tenacity, this strength, this power, and she said, Sam, do you want what the Course is offering? Do you want it with every bit, do you want it completely above everything else? Do you want the peace of God? Do you want happiness and joy? Do you want to let go of this identity of personal self, this personal ego? I can't remember the exact word she used, but it was very powerful at the time. And I just knew with every fibre of my being that this is what I wanted. I want the truth. I want to know what I am. I've been studying at this point A Course in Miracles for like 6-7 years. I mean, really studying it, doing the lessons religiously, reading the book over, listening over and over again, thousands of times, so many times, just the blue book at this point. And I was just, actually previous to this, I'd been wanting to know what the real world is. It was kind of driving me a little bit nuts, because previously, the last 2 years, what is this real world? It tells me of this real world experience. What is it? Like, how do you see it? What is it like? I know it's what it's like on paper. The real world does not look like this. It has no roads where people walk alone and separate. There are no streets lit with artificial light. And I'm probably going to read this before I show this practice. Or maybe I'll just do this as I'll read in between and I'll go to the practice. And okay, let me read this for you now. This section of the Course, and then we'll come back to this story. So I'm just going to go into it. And do I have it on me right now? do it here. I do, but it's getting a bit cold. I have to do this in 2 segments. I have the feeling I should do it back at the house. I'm going to do it as like a meditation. I think I'll attach it to this story that it can take you into the experience of the real world, because I wanted to do a real world experience. Anyway, so I'll continue. And as I felt this 100% knowing that this was the real world, something just started to awaken, and I started to have this Kundalini experience that just began. It started from the lower center, and just building up like a train, and this energy, I felt this stirring circular energy coming up, and it started then, but within about an hour it got into full force, and I was in a state of ecstasy, joy, peace, and a knowing that I am as God created me, and a knowing that all this stuff that I've been learning is true. Getting close to a house, I don't want to be around people telling the story. But okay, I'll continue and see what happens. Hopefully there's nobody here. Anyway, so a knowing that I could walk back. Am I even going to release this video? I don't know. Yeah, I was in this knowing that I am as God created me. I just knew the truth. I knew, I could see, I was surrounded by this thing, I called it the donut of love. It was like an energetic donut, and it's completely surrounding the body. But for some reason it was on the center line, I don't know why. But if I looked into it, I could see out into the vastness of the universe. It was like a telescope or shooting through this space. And I could look out, and the closer I looked into this vastness, and it would just, my attention would zoom out, and it would come back. I was still here, feeling like I'm in the body. I still felt like the body was part of me, but just knowing that it's a dream. And just every moment was a joy. Every moment was either peaceful or joyful. I had full connection to spirit. And you know how it says in the Course that the voice of God speaks to us all throughout the day. It was there all the time. Anytime, any moment I needed, like, it would just be there. It would just be like having a friend that was my constant companion. I wouldn't even need, you know, with the current state, you often need to stop and pause and then join with Holy Spirit and keep doing that over and over. I was just in full connection. There wasn't a need to join. I was joined fully. Yeah, it was like having a friend standing next to me. And the other thing that I was experiencing was the real world, because one of the things I'd been wanting to know, what is this real world? And as I was walking around, I could see that there was 2 versions of reality. On the left-hand side was the old world, the dead world, what I called the dead world. It was grey, but I knew it wasn't true. On the right, it was the light world. And you know how it says there's no buildings, there's no streets where people walk alone and separate. That is what I saw. I could see that everyone was made of light. There were no streets, buildings, everyone was happy, everyone was joyful, everyone was peaceful. And it was just, yeah, it was just like it was cut down the middle, so my left-hand side and right-hand side, depending on which way the camera is. And yeah, I remember this, specifically this woman with a dog. She was, yeah, she looked unhappy. But as I looked at her with the dog, she was dancing around. She was just, the real her was this light being that it was vaguely human. It wasn't really kind of like, it was like a human shape, but it was dancing around, like it was some sort of angel. And I knew 100%, with no shadow of a doubt, that was her. That was the real her. And the one with the drawn face, the unhappy look, walking around on the left, just was the unreal world, the world we see with our physical eyes. It's the dead world. So I think in a way what we see with our current vision, because it looks all lush and beautiful, and I think we're seeing kind of embers of the real world. Like it's just, when you look into it, you think, oh, it's there, but it's behind it. It's like behind what we see with our vision. I'm going to show you the forest. So it's like, as you look into things, you're looking beyond it, and you're seeing the light in it. If you keep looking into that light, and then you see the real world. It's just sitting just behind. But in this experience, it was just there, 100%. It lasted for about 2 weeks. And I remember waking up in the morning. This is my morning. Thank you for another day. Literally, just before, as soon as my consciousness came into this body, that's what it felt like. I was coming back from a place. But still, I was just in complete joy. Just, thank you for this breath. Literally, I didn't have to think about it. I just woke up, and the first thing I thought was, thank you for this breath. Can you imagine being grateful for breathing? Just waking up with thank you for this breath. And I would go to sleep like that. And that was my days. I wake up. At the time, I had no work. I was between jobs, which was really, seemed fortunate, but everything in divine order, right? And yeah, it was just a constant, joyful, peaceful experience. And it also proved to me that we don't believe it's possible to be in this continuous, peaceful, joyful state. But it just showed me it is possible, because I experienced it continually. And even though it did end after a couple of weeks and it came down, I remember the moment, it's like it started chugging, like the engine ran out of fuel. It's like, oh no, you don't have enough fuel left to continue with this journey. But I just believed I just wasn't ready to fully let go and fully experience life without guilt and pain and suffering. Because, we're all addicted to it. We love it. We love this pain. Give us more pain. That's what we're all saying every day. Give us more pain. We say, I don't know how to get out of pain, but we already know the answers. We're just addicted to it. Anyway, so yeah, it was like coming back down off the worst, like the most amazing drug of your life. I've never taken any of these, heroin and these other drugs. I can imagine that's what it feels like. I came down, and I came down hard. I was in depression for about 4 weeks. I'd never felt so unhappy in my entire life. The whole world looked grey. I couldn't see in colour. I think for about 6 weeks I couldn't see in colour. I mean, can you imagine looking around and you're seeing all these trees, but they all look grey. Maybe I can show this in the editing program. It all looks grey. You're looking around at nature. Nature looks grey. Who knows? Maybe I'll share this later. Maybe I just don't edit and I just upload it and see what happens. It'd be interesting, because I've been doing these videos for a while, just recording whatever, just as a way of practicing recording. Being the light. Yeah, should we see what happens? I'll put this video out unedited. I'll edit it a little bit. And because this guy, I know, he makes these videos and he just rambles on about stuff, but it's cool because it's his life and what he's interested in, and yeah, and he's funny and interesting. Anyway, okay, well, stinging nettles, stung. Okay, I'm gonna take you out into the clearing and then say goodbye. Okay, who knows? Okay. Bye bye.